I know you've got some questions on this debt ceiling. I have done 3 interviews so far this morning, and everybody hammering away at their questions for my opinion, for what it's worth, in reference to this crisis that we're in. Our crisis that we're in is not a stalemate in the government. I've tried to make that clear this morning on several other networks. The crisis is not the debt, and it's not the shutdown of the government. The crisis is a lack of leadership. We have a leadership crisis in this nation, and it's been 5 years. Now, I took a little bit of heat this morning for a comment that I made, and I'll share it with you. So I took so much heat about it during an interview, which, by the way, I enjoyed, but I took so much heat about it that I thought I'd write an article about it, so I did. And you'll find that article posted this afternoon somewhere, I'm sure, but I'll let you know where it is, maybe yet even this morning. But it was in reference to where we are in America. And the question was originally by the host is attacking me because I've questioned the greatness of America. And I said, well, I don't know who you've been listening to, but it hasn't been me. And I don't know who you've been reading, but it hasn't been me. I've not questioned the greatness of America. As a matter of fact, if I was questioning the greatness of America, I wouldn't be getting on the air for 2 hours every day, being so fired up, if I didn't understand and know the greatness of America. But I did say this, in which I took some heat for. I said, look, the trust in America, the struggles that we've had since the beginning of this crisis, this financial crisis, the credibility that we've lost around the world as an American economic powerhouse has happened since the day this president took office. The commentator said, are you meaning to say that this is not something that has taken 20 or 30 years to happen? You're blaming it all on this president? I said, yes. What I said was, let me make something clear. I believe the failed government policies of the last 30 years got us into this mess. Make no mistake about it. I believe that. I said it in 2008. I happened to say to this commentator on your network in 2008, and I stand by it. But the lack of leadership has caused the lack of confidence and trust that America has throughout the global economies. It is the lack of leadership in the last 5 years. And I did go on to say, I'm not just speaking of this president. I'm speaking about Capitol Hill, both Republicans and Democrats alike. There is such a huge deficit in leadership, and which has created this incredible dysfunction that we have in Washington, that we have become a nation of a laughingstock for all practical purposes. And we have lost a great deal of our credibility. And I am convinced that we have lost that credibility as a result of this administration and this Congress. Congress meaning all 535 of them on Capitol Hill. I won't go into all the other details of it. There's no sense in reliving that, but I did write about it this morning when I got off the air. So you'll be able to read about what I think. We went into some historical things, and I had to correct some of the facts in reference to default and in reference to, America losing this over a period of time, just like Germany did in World War I. Richard Nixon, a Republican president, decided to go off the gold standard that hurt the economies and so on and so forth. And I had to correct him on all those facts. And I wrote about some of those, so you can check that out. I'll put it in the newsletter this week. If it'll be somewhere out there on one of the websites, and I'll let you know where that is as well. But I'll get it out there. It'll be on my newsletter, financialissues.org. It's a free email newsletter if you want to check that out. But it was an interesting debate. My other two interviews were great and very open to listening to what my opinion is. And someone said my opinion is very different than everybody else on the major networks. I said, oh, well, I don't know what to tell you about that. I don't know what everybody else is saying, but they believe they're right. I believe I'm right. And we'll just leave it at that. So interesting times when we come back. But I said to this one host, and I believe this with all my heart, history is going to show someday that what we have suffered and are yet to suffer is going to be strictly due to the last 5 years and the next 4 or 5 years, due to an incredible lack of leadership and competency in Washington, D.C. Just my opinion.